Cases are boring. They're just boxes to put your shit in, assuming you can even afford any shit to put in your box. But if you can, this box allows you to put your shit in it and display it. If you're serious about your aim, your mouse actually matters more than people think. And this is Be Quiet's new Dark Perk gaming mouse. Now what I like is that they don't do the usual one shape fits nobody approach. You've got two options, the Sim, which is a classical symmetrical design, and the Ergo, if you want something that actually fits your hand for longer sessions. It's also super lightweight, which makes a bigger difference than people realize, and less fatigue, easier micro adjustments, and just better overall control. And inside you get the PixArt PAW 3950 sensor, up to 32,000 DPI, and 8,000 Hertz polling. So yeah, this is top tier tracking, and no weird acceleration, no spin outs, and just exactly what you expect your mouse to do. And the clicks feel really nice too. These are optical Omron switches, so they're fast, consistent, and a little softer than the typical click, which is great for long sessions. And then the part that people overlook, it's 100% PTFE skates with rounded edges, which means this thing glides smooth, predictable, and with no drag. Oh, and with up to 110 hours of battery life, so you're not constantly plugging it in. So if you're trying to get every little advantage you can in competitive gaming, this is one of those upgrades you'll actually notice. So check out the Be Quiet Dark Perk mouse in the link in the description below. Okay, so this is the Cooler Master Maker MasterFrame. Okay, wait, actually.
They got mad at you doing that joke so many times, they don't even put the name on the box anymore.
It's the MasterFrame 360 LCD. So this case right here is pretty interesting. I don't enjoy reviewing cases these days because they're all so similar. And I actually reached out to Cooler Master and asked them to provide this case because I said I want to do crazy builds again, right? But what made the build so fun was usually the case they were going in, allowing me to do something creative. But they debuted this at Computex and showed it at CES. It's pretty unique. I almost feel like this is a slap in the face to a statement I said a while ago, which is like, putting a figurine in your case is not a theme. So they went, fine, Jay, we'll create a stage with lighting so you can put it outside your case. Doesn't matter, it's pretty cool though, and I'll show you. It's big, it's a double wide. There's multiple versions of this case. There's the transparent version, which just has tempered glass in the front that you can see through. I believe there's a mesh version so you can have more airflow. And then this is the LCD version. Look, there's even buttons under there. The reason why it's called the stage is it allows you to display something in the front area right here, like a figurine or something, if I can get the packaging off. This is why it's called the, ooh, it's rubber. I didn't realize it was rubberized. So that's why it's called the stage, and it even has these lights right here that shine down, literally making it a stage. So let's say, for instance, this guy's a little small for it, but let's, you got a really neat figurine or something or a collectible and you want to display it, like you could display it on there, but this is an LCD screen. This whole thing is an LCD screen, and it is an extended LCD, oh, and it's matte finish, thank God. Anyway, so it's an extended display, or it even has built-in effects of like different, like cool kaleidoscope, whatever effects. But I was more interested in this, not just because of the cool uniqueness of this, but also because it is a very, how's this go? Different, oh, that's magnetic. That's magnetic, Phil. That's not, like, it's got little locator tabs, but look at the magnets. There's magnets right there.
So they got those like industrial like fridge magnets.
Yeah, so they hold on very, watch. Okay, so tempered glass, but check this out. It's a dual chamber technically, but the bottom and the top are connected. So you can put a crap ton of fans down here, side by side. So you could fit two 120mm fans side by side. So you could have 6 fans down here bringing air through the bottom and 6 fans on top bringing air out. I want to know if 2 radiators will fit side by side. Because if they will, that's where I'm kind of thinking about my custom build ideas here. The top is not, oh, it is magnetic. Okay. Now in typical Cooler Master fashion, and it's been a while, I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've looked at a Cooler Master product. But in true Cooler Master fashion, just like with their Cosmos cases and stuff, everything is modular. So do you see all of those different holes? Those are all different positions where you can move these brackets which hold the fans in place so that you can make it fit technically larger fans if you wanted, or kind of scoot it around, or use it for customization to mount things to if you wanted. Obviously it'll fit AIOs and stuff like that. I did ask them, can I fit a radiator side by side? And they were like, good question. So we're gonna find that out today. But here's the back side. I just think this is so well thought out. Like these panels right here that cover stuff, obviously screw down. We can have power supply goes right here. There's this whole chamber right in here to hide wiring. Sort of though, because as you can see, everything is mesh. But now there's no fans or anything on the backside right here. It's all mesh, but that's because this is designed to be a true updraft with 12 120 millimeter fans. But as you can see right here, you do have the motherboard tray, which supports BTF. It's really solid. Now I've heard some brands say, we don't do BTF because of flexibility / rigidity problems. I don't think it's a problem for this case. I grabbed it by the thinnest metal right there. There's no rigidity problems with that. Now there's one thing that sort of stands out to me right now that I kind of don't like the way it looks, and that's this gray wire right here though. Look at this wire, just kind of, yeah. Also you'll notice I have this box right here, and we haven't looked at the box of accessories yet. They said this wasn't even technically announced yet, but this was a response to user feedback saying they wished that the stage was a little bigger. So this is a extended stage. So if it's not big enough, you just slip this on and then no one's the wiser. But because it comes all the way back right there, it doesn't look like it's just this janky add-on, but yeah. See, it says sample only, but they told me I could show it. They said it's coming. I guess the real downside is, see from here. Well, I guess we're gonna find out what happens there. Okay. Anyway, this is literally just pressure fit in there. So be careful then if you're going to take that off. Now I guess it has to be because, like I said, they have 3 different fronts. They have the LCD, we have a mesh, and then we have a tempered glass version. So all the buttons for power and USB-C and USB 3, combo headphone jack, all right here on the top. You can see the wiring running through right there. Okay, so these buttons right here, I'm assuming these are, oh, this is just a sticker telling you the buttons are down there. So that's the downside about the extended display, or the extended stage, is this is gonna be probably the different modes to cycle through the built-in motion graphics that can display on here. This is how you do it right there. So if you put on the extended stage, right? Let's get that on there all the way. Oh yeah, you can easily identify them. There's plenty of room under there. All right, let's see what comes in the included accessory box. Okay, this seems a bit like a waste of cardboard. So we've got that and a riser. So this is a USB, or excuse me, a PCIe 5 riser. I don't know, this feels like a little bit extra cardboard than necessary for this. Now, my concern about this riser, and I guess I'm gonna have to mount this up and test. So looking at the plane of where the 2 tabs are right here that the GPU lines up in, and then the higher mounting point of this, pretty sure that the GPU is gonna just rest on that. So, oh yeah, I can already feel it hitting that. Dude, that's actually really solid. Look at that. It's not even screwed in right now. Yeah, that's really solid in there. In terms of space between the glass, oh dude, I mean, there's plenty. So we answered the GPU question. Now, I think I should go grab a sensible GPU, because Phil's like, what if the GPU is too short and then doesn't reach that bracket? Maybe I'll just grab a Founders Edition card real quick, because those are actually shorter than you would think. Compared to the Astral, the FE looks so stupid in there. But as you can see,
Oh, you beep.
I know, it really doesn't look adequate. It reminds me of like the first ring I ever bought my wife that was like a flake of a stone, but the setting was bigger than the stone because the stone was like, here's your chip of a diamond. It was like 0.1 carat, something really stupid, but I bought it with love, okay? Anyway, okay, so the 5090 FE fits, but what about a more like sensible tiny car, like a 5070 or something? Let's see. No, this looks like the first ring I ever bought my wife. Yeah, so there's a lower limit to what I think can reliably be mounted in here and not flop around. So even this card being super tiny is going to absolutely flop around in there. Nobody that would pay for this case should be running this card. Like, at least custom or aftermarket 5070s are bigger usually.
This might be the first case we've reviewed with a minimum GPU length.
I know.
That's amazing.
To be fair, this used to be like a full-size card. Oh, how the turntables. Okay, so those will go like there. Here's the thing. They fit right there. How do I mount these down? Do I have to? Okay. So you have, okay, so this gets us access to the bottom bracket here. Aww, I was worried about that. Dang, this is literally one of those, like, if we just had like 5 more millimeters. These tabs right here is actually what the glass like slots into. So you see how I let it slide down farther in? And now I can't get to those screws, but look, that's still really solid. Now, oh, look at that. And now I can get to the inside ones. So I can fit 2 down here, and there's plenty of height for the fans. The fittings are gonna be really snug, but look at that. Dude, I only have the 2 in the middle right there, look at that. And then especially with it being on the bottom, I almost feel like I would put the fittings on this side though, because it's gonna get really busy over here. So if I grab a couple fans now, plenty of room. Look at that. Reservoir could mount to this thing. You know what I mean? Or even here, because look, we have some holes here. So I could even mount like a tube res there or something. If I did then a water-cooled GPU, obviously it wouldn't, but if I went water-cooled block, I might have to make an extension piece that comes off the block, because most blocks are not that long. So I needed to reach this, because the block would make it very heavy. Okay, so we answered the question, can fit 2 360s on the bottom. I'm assuming it looks truly just the same on the top, but I have to verify that. Because the issue with the top is going to be gravity, right? The bottom here, they can just lay flat. But if I can only fit the middles on the top, what potential problem does that create for me? The hardest part with this truly is going to be fittings, which is why I would probably utilize cross-flow rads up here so I don't have to run as many tubes and fittings to get it to the other side, because I need to not only have room for the fittings, I need to have room for the tubing. So that's gonna be the true challenge here. Yeah, I would just probably, in the corners, put a couple small squares of like 3M construction tape. And when I say construction tape, it's thin, but it's very high adhesive.
So this is where it mounts to the case, right?
Right.
I see a hole right there that looks like it mounts to the radiator, or it could mount to the radiator, the inside.
You might be correct.
So I think you can mount the bracket to the rad, then up.
Oh, you know, I think you're right. Let's find out. If that's the case, then we're good to go. And right now, some Cooler Master product manager's like, read the fucking manual! If that's the case, we're good on the bottom too. It's the last 10 minutes of him like probably breaking his screen, going, Jay, you're freaking loser, read the damn manual. And the cool thing is now I can adjust it left or forward and back, right? But I should be able to bring these out together. I'm excited about building in this. Like I said, it's gonna be a challenge. I'm probably gonna have to use cross-flow rads. So the cross-flow means instead of two tubes on one end, like an input and an inlet and an outlet on one side, it's inlet and outlet on the other side. So instead of having a dual pass rad where it comes down one half, makes the turn and goes back down the other half, and then over here connect to a tube, come this way and then turn that way and everything's on one side, it could be inlet, outlet, outlet connect to here, and then out over there. So everything can go in and out on one side, and it means I can get the tubing and the flow across without having to run tubes back and forth. And we won't have as much of a pressure drop because instead of having half the amount of rows for flow, it flows directionally through all the rows at one time. So we get less of a pressure drop when we do it that way. So I think cross-flow rads in here might provide me the solution that I need, which is cool because with them being attached with this bracket means that I could get all that like plumbing and stuff figured out first. And I need to attach this right here as well. And then I can just attach this thing all up in there as a chunko rad. Yeah, they line up perfectly. Nice call, Phil. Nice call out. Look at that. So now you're right, I don't have any sagging issues because.
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay, Cooler Master. When I ask, can you fit 2 360s side by side, the answer is yes, you can. Now that's a radiator.
Radiator?
Radiator. That's a radiator. Oh, here's the problem though. I probably have to get some flathead screws or flat screws. I guess I could hang down slightly. It's just because they're round head, they're not allowing it to sit flush. Oh no, wait, I'm stupid. Okay, you know what? Cooler Master, I love you because this is the case of like, Jay will have a complaint that he'll then realize we addressed. Do you see how there's like, the dome is a little higher, but at least it's got that spacer, right? So the threads stick up. So one, it gives more threads in the metal, and then two, it fixes some of that. So if I were to get flathead screws, that would be perfectly fine. But as you just saw, I was able to mount, like still get plenty of bite. There's plenty of screw length to get bite on that, see? You can fit 4 360s in this thing, and it's ultimately not that much more space than like a regular mid-tower would take up. So there's some adjustment that's needed because the brackets have some play in the screw, like some of the holes aren't lining up perfectly, so that just means I have to loosen up the brackets, get them to kind of slide into their spot. These are just standard 25 mil fans, but I feel like I could even fit 28 or potentially even 30s in there. I just have to consider the tubing. No, not even. And this is when I do the build in this. I'll definitely do it vlog style where I'm showing you all the things I'm doing along the way. Because I'm not gonna have to run any tubing along this area because the radiator link will be handling that. There's plenty of room here for the fittings. And even if they were just 90s pointing each other with a tube connecting them, I have a good 35 mils there, which is more than enough to fit those fittings pointing at each other. And then as you can see here with like the fans, obviously plenty of room for the fans. Still have room to even like slide my hand under it. And then, whoa, because I think I'm gonna do BTF with this build, I don't have to worry about cables coming up here or anything because they'd come out right here anyway, even with the normal one, because there's a notch. It's kind of hard to see, this is notched. So it's not just a regular hole, like the hole goes like that. So if that were a square, they notched it like that. So I could still have the EPS power come out through there. Because I put the rads on the top now, you can't see that, but yes, this with a BTF, water-cooled, 4 360s, some nice high static pressure fans. Tell me you guys don't want me to build it. I dare you. It'll only make me want to do it harder. Okay, so I just took off these 4 screws, which removes this cover. So this part right here for the power supply, this can be removed and has 2 positions that it can mount in. So this can slide if needed. I would just want to make sure, yep, the power supply goes right here in the middle, so you have access to BTF down here, BTF up here, BTF there. And then we need to find a way to demonstrate the screen real quick, because Phil really wants to see the screen. And then I'll be honest, I did not ask for this case to do this review. I asked for this case because I knew I was going to do a build in it. And I want to do a custom high-end water-cooled, stupid, ridiculously overcooled for no reason other than I'm an enthusiast at it. And I thought, if that case can fit 4 360s, nothing else on the market right now that is in this package, like this size, can fit 4 360s. And I just proved that they can. And the fact that Cooler Master didn't even know when I asked them, like, can it fit 4 360s side by side? They were like, we don't know. I said, well, we're gonna find out because I'm gonna try it. Now we know. Okay, so if you take this off, oh, we got hard drive mounts right here. This looks like it could potentially be a fan mount right there.
Oh, if you remove that plate?
Yeah. So this is an RGB header jumper to something. Not very long though. So here's our front panel connectors. We've got right here, USB and a SATA going to this. Okay, so this is for the, wow, interesting, Phil. This is the power and the data for the screen, but it's not a USB-C, it's USB 2. So other front panel connectors here, we have HD audio, unified front panel connector, a USB 3, very rigid USB 3 though, a USB-C, and then this is for the front panel connector right here. So let me, well, I guess if that's just data, if it just gets power, I should be able to potentially change its mode on its own button. So let's see what happens. Okay, so no data connected, just power to the screen. Hey, look at that, it turned on.
Nice.
Why are we surprised? Ooh, bubbles. Okay, so I should be able to change the mode. Wait, what's that, brightness? Or backlight? Okay, so it's just brightness and then that. You probably can't change that mode. They probably have software. Yeah, I can't find my inline RGB controller that I would have to plug into this. So that's exactly what that cable that was coming off for the RGB is. It goes to these lights. And these are technically just then RGB lights. So that'll connect to the motherboard or whatever else. But that's it for today. Really, it was just, you know what, this thing's cool. It's definitely different. We've been very hungry for something different in the market. And I'm just so excited that I can fit 4 360s in this. That'd be more than enough to cool something like a 3090 and a, I don't know, maybe a 9950X2 or something, 9950X3DX2, however it's called, whatever. Yeah, this is gonna be cool. I'm excited for this. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, I'll put a link to it down in the description below. Like I said, Cooler Master sent us the case on my request, but it wasn't like sponsored or anything like that. I just was, I wanted to know, and now we know. So if you're looking for a mid-tower case that can fit a water cooling wet dream, there it is right there. All right, we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go upstairs and start figuring out the parts I need to order for this because it is going to be a masterpiece when we're done. I need to come up with something unique and cool. I don't want it to just be all black. There's also no lighting in here, but think about the amount of RGB lighting the fans alone are gonna emit on this. But I also think BTF is gonna be the coolest way to do this because every bit of that wiring can be hidden behind this. You know what I mean? So that's gonna be cool. All right, thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you in the next one.
Oh no, it wafted over here.
I sprayed.
I know, but now it's just spray and
I'm Jay's 2 cents. I may have just shit my pants. I dare you to leave all that in as the outtake at the end.